Assalamualaikum and selamat sejahtera. Okay. Today we are going to continue with topic 3. Right. Okay. I am going to proceed with what we have discussed last week. Okay. So last week we've discussed the direct material and also, the raw material cost. So now we are going to proceed with the direct labor cost. Okay. Right. So I'm going to share to you the screen for today. Okay. Right. Okay, the class for today is going to be very simple. So I am just going to use your digital notes, okay, as reference, and also during my explanations, okay. Okay, kita sambung. Alright, direct labor. Okay, so we are going to discuss on labor costs. Okay, so labor cost di sini, okay, as you can see in your notes, okay, it consists of two, which is your direct labor, okay, and also indirect labor, right? Okay, so kalau you nampak dekat sini, so we have two lah, alright? So this is the composition of your labor cost, okay? So before we discuss further, okay, so let's look at the definition of direct labor. Okay, so as you can see in your notes, direct labor cost, okay, is referring to the wages, okay, wages which is upah or salaries, okay, that is paid to direct labours. Okay, so macam kita dah belajar topic 2, okay, direct labor means labor which is directly involved in the production of finished goods. That means kalau di kilang, okay, labor ni adalah yang betul-betul touch, okay, yang betul-betul terlibat dalam pembuatan barang, bahan mentah, mengubah bahan mentah menjadi barang siap. Okay, so whatever remunerations yang kita bayar kepada labor ini, sama ada dalam bentuk wages or salaries, okay, that is considered direct labor costs. Okay, so direct labor can be factory employees. Okay, sebab as we all understand, okay, the factory employees such as the assembly line workers and all, these people can be physically and directly associated. Okay, apa yang dibuat dekat kilang? Okay, dia akan convert, alright, raw materials, okay, into finished goods. Okay, so bila dia yang betul-betul terlibat secara langsung in converting the raw materials into finished goods during the production process, so mereka ni dikenali sebagai direct labor. So whatever remunerations, okay, such as wages or salaries that is paid to the direct labor is actually direct labor cost. Okay, so untuk mengenal pasti apa dia secara detail, okay, direct labor cost, okay, as you can see in number 3, okay, the amount of wages and salary can be conveniently identified. Maksudnya kita boleh kira. Okay, so let's say is wages, it is based on your working hours. Okay, so kita boleh ambil kira berapa rate dia untuk 1 jam. Okay, and kita akan darabkan dengan berapa jam dia bekerja. Okay, whereas for salaries, okay, that means it's a fixed amount that is to be paid to these labours. So kita memang boleh kenal, bukan kita boleh kenal, kita memang boleh kenal pasti, okay, how much we are actually paying in a form of wages ataupun salaries to these particular labours. Okay, so kita boleh identify dengan particular line, okay, ataupun produk, ataupun job, ataupun processes. Okay, so contoh dekat sini direct labor, okay, kalau dekat kilang, okay, as you can see is assembly line wages, okay, which is upah yang dibayar kepada pekerja production. Okay, and let's say your factory is actually a clothing factory. Okay, kilang buat baju. Okay, so kilang buat baju tu is actually assembly line wages, tapi we can be more specific. Okay, so those who are actually involved in the clothing factory is actually tailors lah. Sebab mereka ni yang bertanggungjawab untuk jahit pakaian dalam kilang pakaian tersebut. Okay, so kalau you adalah sebuah syarikat printing factory, okay, so in printing factory, those considered as your direct labor is the graphic designers, okay, because these are the people who design for your printing company. So the salaries that is paid to these graphic designers, it's also considered as direct labor, okay. So all this remuneration paid to the direct labor, okay, is called direct labor cost, okay. Whereas untuk indirect labor, okay, kalau you tengok indirect labor dekat sini, alright, so dia adalah the same thing actually, okay, it's a cost, okay, that we are paying, okay, in amount of wages ataupun salaries, okay, in amount of wages ataupun salaries, tapi kita bayar kepada factory employees, okay, yang tidak ada direct association with the finished products, okay, which is impractically to trace cost to goods produced. That means dia bekerja di dalam kilang, tapi dia tidak terlibat secara langsung dalam pengeluaran. So these people, even though they are in the factory itself, okay, but since they are not directly involved in the process of converting raw materials into finished goods, so we cannot consider these people as direct labor. So mereka ni adalah indirect labor. So whatever wages or salaries that is paid to these workers, okay, is considered as indirect labor cost. Okay, so bila dia indirect labor cost, so as we all discuss in topic 2, okay, manufacturing cost ada 3. Alright, one is direct material, second one is direct labor, okay, and then anything that you need to pay, any costing or expenses that you need to pay in the factory, but it's not related to direct labor, it's not related to direct material, okay, automatically these items will go to manufacturing overhead. So in this case, kita tahu indirect labor tu tidak boleh dimasukkan dalam direct material, right? And you cannot put them in direct labor as well. Okay, so bila dua tempat tu dah tak boleh masuk, that means how do I categorize indirect labor? Okay, so indirect labor is considered part of manufacturing overhead. Okay, alright, so example nota bagi ialah indirect labor constitutes those factory employees that are not directly engaged. Maksudnya dia bekerja dalam kilang tapi dia tidak terlibat secara langsung dalam core manufacturing process. Okay, so siapa sebenarnya yang dalam kilang tapi tak terlibat dengan pengeluaran? Okay, mesti ada kan? Alright, so kita ada factory manager salaries. Okay, so the factory manager is your indirect labor. So he or she is paid salaries. Okay, so the cost is called indirect labor cost. Okay, lepas tu kita ada supervisor. So the salaries that is paid to the supervisor is also indirect labor cost. Okay, dekat depan kilang tu ada orang jaga kan? Okay, adik manis mau masuk kerja kah? Okay, so yang jaga depan kilang tu adik manis tu, that is your factory security. Okay, so the factory security personnel is also paid salaries. Okay, so the amount of salaries that is paid to the personnel is actually your indirect labor cost. Okay, yang ni yang kamu selalu sebut dalam kelas lah, makcik cleaner. Okay, it's actually not makcik cleaner lah, because I cannot put here cleaner auntie, isn't it? Okay, so it is going to be janitors salaries. Okay, so all these are examples of indirect labor. So semua ni, okay, bekerja di dalam kilang. It's just that when the person is directly involved in converting raw materials into finished goods, okay, that particular person is called your direct labor. So apa saja yang dibayar kepada orang ini dipanggil direct labor costs. Okay, whereas for those who are still working in the factory, tapi tidak ada kaitan secara langsung dengan barang. Maksudnya dia tak pegang langsung barang tu untuk convert dari bahan mentah menjadi barang siap. So mereka ni dibayar gaji, dibayar upah, tapi mereka adalah indirect labor. So the cost that is paid to them is considered indirect labor cost. Okay, moving forward. Alright, kita tengok elements related to labor cost. Okay, what are the elements that is related to labor cost? Okay, as you can see here, alright, yang pertama kita ada ialah wages and salaries. Okay, wages and salaries. Yang ini saya rasa tak ada masalah dari segi definition because everybody can define what is the meaning of wages, what is the meaning of salaries. Okay, tapi the actual definition for wages and salaries, kalau ikut nota yang kita ada di sini, okay, wages means basic wages. Okay, and all other payments in form of cash payables, maksudnya tunai yang boleh dibayar kepada pekerja apabila kerjanya telah siap for work done. Okay, in respect to his or her contract of service. Okay, so wages ni seperti yang kita pernah bincang, okay, wages is actually calculated based on actual hours worked. Okay, so maksudnya berapa jam anda bekerja, that is actually your base to calculate your wages paid. Okay, so yang kita kena pastikan terlebih dahulu adalah the predetermined hourly rate. So maksudnya awak kena tahu 1 jam pekerja ni dibayar berapa ringgit. Okay, dan setiap pekerja ada jam maksimum untuk kerja setiap hari. Okay, so apabila mereka ada jam kerja yang ditetapkan setiap hari, maximum time allowed, okay, yang itu kita akan darab dengan rate given, so kita akan dapat nilai wages yang perlu dibayar. Okay, so in contrary, alright, salaries pula ialah satu nilai yang fix. Okay, so yang ni orang kata makan gaji buta tu, it's actually not gaji buta. Alright, it's a fixed amount yang dibayar kepada employees, okay, normally on a monthly basis. It's not based on the working hours. Okay, yang paling mudah sekali kita nak tengok ialah like me lah. Okay, I'm teaching. Okay, so kalau cuti ke tak cuti ke, I am still paid the same amount of salaries. Okay, there is no deduction. Tapi if I do extra work, I am still paid the same amount of salaries. Okay, sebab when you are paid in a form of salaries, there is no such thing as OT for you because untuk kami cikgu, kita orang punya waktu kerja tidak fix, tidak tetap. Okay, based on the classes. Okay, tapi ada setengah pekerja pejabat yang dibayar salaries. Okay, tapi mereka ada jam kerja yang tetap. That means 8 hingga 12. Lepas tu 2 hingga 4. So 8 hingga 12 tu dia kena ada di pejabat, tak boleh berada di tempat lain. Okay, lepas 2 hingga 4 pun dia kena ada di pejabat, tak boleh ada di tempat lain. Tapi jika mereka bekerja di luar daripada waktu yang saya sebutkan tadi, they are entitled for OTs, which is overtime. Alright, okay, so this is wages and salaries. Okay, we look at overtime. Okay, so overtime ni ialah excess normal working hours. Okay, maksudnya waktu kerja yang di luar daripada waktu kerja kebiasaan anda. Alright, so the remuneration paid to these employees untuk kerja-kerja yang dibuat selepas daripada normal working hours ni dipanggil overtime. Okay, so contoh, katakan anda bekerja di sebuah restoran makanan segera. Alright, so your maximum working hours is actually 8 hours per day. Okay, so let's say hari tu short of staff, tidak ada pekerja tak cukup. So you already work 8 hours and then you punya supervisor minta you tambah lagi 2 jam waktu kerja. Okay, so my first 8 hours is using the rate given for my wages lah. Okay, so maksudnya yang itu adalah satu nilai yang telah ditetapkan untuk pembayaran upah saya setiap hari. Tapi the extra work, okay, the extra after the 8 hours given, okay, katakanlah saya overtime sebanyak 2 jam. So that extra 2 hours, I will be paid OT. Tapi selalunya, okay, OT tidak dibayar dengan nilai yang sama dengan your normal working hours. So let's say kalau kata normal working hours saya 8 jam, 1 jam saya dibayar RM10 contoh. Bila saya bekerja OT, I am not going to be paid RM10 1 jam juga. Maybe lower. lower, it's not going to be higher. Normally it's lower because you already exceeded your excess, you already exceeded your normal working hours. So kita akan tetap buat bayaran, tapi rate dia akan dikira pada satu kadar yang berbeza lah. Okay, so whenever the overtime is paid to direct labor, okay, itu tetap dipanggil direct labor cost walaupun dia overtime. Sebab pembayaran itu dibuat kepada seorang pekerja yang terlibat secara langsung dengan pengeluaran. Okay, and bila you bayar overtime kepada indirect labours, that means mungkin I bayar kepada Pak Gad yang jaga dekat depan kilang tu. Okay, so that is overtime. Tapi kita faham, kita tahu Pak Gad itu walaupun dia bekerja di kilang, tapi dia ialah indirect labour. So the OT that is paid to this particular person is considered indirect labour cost. Okay, so yang ni kena faham betul-betul. There is no such thing as, oh bila OT saja dia akan masuk indirect labour, sebab it is not actually counted in the actual working hours. Tidak, salah tu. Sebab kita kenal pasti sesuatu cost tu dibayar dulu kepada siapa. So if you are actually paying your direct labour, that means tak kisahlah you bayar dia dalam bentuk gaji sebenar dia ataupun bayaran kerja lebih masa, which is overtime. Okay, because this particular person is your direct labour, that means anything that you pay to this particular person should be considered as direct labour cost. Okay, so that is for overtime. Okay, pekeso. Pekeso ni biasa dengar. Alright, pekeso, sokso ni you biasa dengar. Right? So pekeso, sokso ni is actually what? Okay, yang ni sebenarnya ialah pertubuhan keselamatan sosial. Okay, so dia sebenarnya melindungi pekerja lah. Okay, it was established in 1971 under the Ministry of Human Resources, okay, formerly known as Ministry of Labour. Okay, tujuan dia adalah untuk memberi perlindungan lah kepada mana-mana pekerja yang bekerja di Malaysia. Okay, alright. So not all wages payment to staff workers are subject to SOCSO contribution. SOCSO ni sebenarnya adalah sedikit pemotongan daripada gaji yang dibayar kepada pekerja, tapi duit tu bukan majikan dia yang ambil, tapi sebaliknya dimasukkan ke dalam satu tabung, tabung SOCSO. Okay, so it's actually a saving for you, okay, dalam bentuk tabung SOCSO lah. Okay, so if anything were to happen to you, anda boleh claim daripada tabung pekerja anda. Okay, so dalam banyak-banyak pembayaran yang dibuat kepada pekerja, okay, what are the wages subject to SOCSO contribution? Alright, yang pertama ialah gaji, for sure lah. Okay, I am not very sure about the percentage, tapi you are given a percentage to be deducted from your salaries or wages, dan nilai wang yang ditolak tadi tu akan masuk ke dalam tabung SOCSO. Okay, so apa lagi yang layak untuk dipotong sebagai potongan SOCSO? Selain daripada salaries dan wages, kita ada overtime payment. Or let's say you are paid commission, okay, for your sales, alright. Lepas tu apa-apa saja cuti bergaji. Okay, sebab ada setengah pekerja walaupun dia bercuti tapi dia tetap dibayar gaji. Okay, so yang itu pun kita ambil kira bayaran dia untuk dipotong dalam peratusan untuk tabung SOCSO. Okay, dan apa-apa allowance dan juga service charge. Okay, ini untuk SOCSO. Okay, whereas number 4 you have here is EPF or KWSP. Okay, yang ni pun sama sebenarnya. Alright, so EPF ni is actually Employees Provident Fund. Okay, commonly known as KWSP lah. Okay, yang ini sebenarnya setiap company dia kena contribute EPF untuk pekerja dia. Okay, actually bukan sahaja majikan yang kena contribute, tapi majikan juga perlu melaksanakan pemotongan gaji daripada gaji pekerja dan dicarumkan ke dalam KWSP. That means in the KWSP ada dua caruman sebenarnya. Satu ialah caruman majikan, the other one is caruman pekerja. Okay, so that is actually duit kita. Okay, duit pekerja lah. Okay, so you are supposed to remit the contribution sum to KWSP selalunya. Okay, sebelum 15 hari bulan, bulan berikutnya lah. That means kalau saya gaji bulan 10, that means saya kena potong KWSP saya dan pembayaran mesti dilakukan oleh majikan kepada KWSP sebelum 15 hari bulan November. Okay, because it must be done 15 before 15 every next month of your salaries month. Okay, alright. So itu adalah item atau kriteria yang ada dalam direct labor and also indirect labor costs. Alright. Okay, so now we go to calculations. Okay, how do I calculate the direct and indirect labor costs in the production? Okay, so kita tengok contoh yang dia bagi dalam example 3. Okay, as you can see here, okay, these are the labor costs for syarikat XYZ manufacturing Sendirian Berhad. Okay, so kalau you nampak dekat sini, you have 3 types of workers. Okay, one is assembly line wages. You ada 30 pekerja dekat situ. Alright, and then you have your supervisor salaries and also your factory managers salaries. Okay, so the particulars given untuk assembly line wages. Okay, kalau you tengok di sini, assembly line wages ada 30 orang bekerja. Okay, dan mereka ni dibayar, mereka ni akan bekerja maksimum 7 jam sehari. Okay, dan dalam masa sebulan mereka layak bercuti. So working days mereka hanya setakat 28 hari sahaja. Alright. Okay, so how much is the rate paid to this particular assembly line wages? Okay, rate yang dia bagi dekat sini ialah RM12 satu jam. Okay, so kalau RM12 satu jam, saya bekerja selama 7 jam sehari, maknanya gaji harian saya lebih kurang RM84. Okay, so itu untuk assembly line wages. Okay, whereas here you have the supervisor salaries yang dibayar gaji bulanan. Okay, so dia tidak ada rate per hour sebab kira ada satu nilai tetap which is 3,200, and then factory manager salaries dia ada gaji yang dibayar secara tetap secara bulanan which is 5,400. Okay, so how do I calculate the direct labor and indirect labor? The first thing you need to know, you need to do is actually classify. Okay, siapa direct labor, siapa indirect labor. So as you can see in the question itself, the first one is my direct labor. So bila saya nak kira cost untuk direct labor, saya akan ambil from the rate given to the assembly line wages. Whereas supervisor dengan factory manager salaries ni, mereka ni bekerja di dalam kilang, tapi mereka tidak terlibat secara langsung dengan production. So this is my indirect labor. So bila yang ini ialah indirect labor, so I will calculate that accordingly. Alright, so macam mana nak kira direct labor dan indirect labor cost for the month of January 2022? Okay, for direct labor cost, it is going to be RM12 multiplied by 7 hours. That is your maximum working hours per day. Okay, times 30. Is it times 30? Lepas tu time 28 days. Okay, kenapa times 30? This is actually the number of workers. Jangan salah pula, nanti nampak 30 ingat bulan. Actually your hari is actually 28 days. Okay, so excuse me. So every month, okay, the company perlu membayar sejumlah RM70,560 dalam bentuk direct labor cost. Okay, whereas untuk indirect labor cost, sebab dia adalah satu nilai fix untuk every month, so you only have one supervisor and then one factory manager. Okay, so 3,200 plus 5,400. So the total cost for your indirect labor ialah 8,600. Okay, alright. So this is going to be your direct labor cost. Betul? Alright. And here, this one, sebab dia indirect labor cost, this one will be included in the manufacturing overhead cost. Alright. Okay, so that is for your direct direct labor. Okay, all right. So moving forward to 3.3. Okay, this is the last item. Okay, for your manufacturing costs. Okay, all right. So now we have the definition. Okay, macam biasa. Okay, I already explained this in topic 2. Okay, all right. So manufacturing overhead. Okay, apa saja kos yang berlaku dalam kilang? Alright, so anything that is to be paid, okay, in a form of cost or expenses in the manufacturing process, okay, but cannot be included in your direct labor, cannot be included in your direct material, or will automatically be in your manufacturing overhead. So apa item yang ada dalam manufacturing overhead? You have your indirect materials, okay, indirect labor, and any other expenses that is related to the factory. Okay, the best part of this item, normally kalau dalam soalan, okay, dia akan ada perkataan factory with the item. So dia akan jadi macam depreciation expense for factory equipments. Okay, so you can see the word factory equipment. So that means the equipment is actually in the factory itself. So apa saja yang saya bayar berkaitan dengan factory will be included in the manufacturing overhead costs. Okay, ataupun let's say saya bayar tax. Okay, factory building tax contoh. So it's a tax paid for the building. Tapi building tu building apa? Building tu is the factory building. So if it's factory building cost, that means that is automatically your manufacturing overhead. Okay, so in summary, actually it's a cost incurred in the factory, betul kan? Dia berlaku dalam kilang. Okay, tapi dia selain daripada direct material cost and also direct labor cost. Okay, so manufacturing overhead is actually considered as product cost sebab dia adalah sebahagian daripada allocations untuk produk. Okay, so kita ada banyak jenis overhead allocations. Okay, so yang ni mungkin juga termasuk dalam traditional absorption costing ataupun any EBC costing. Alright. Okay, contoh yang dia bagi dekat sini, factory supervisor salaries, indirect material cost, factory rental, okay, depreciation expense, okay, and then you have factory tax, factory insurance, factory utilities, okay, semua yang ada perkataan factory tu that will be included in your manufacturing overhead cost. Okay, so now example 4, kita nak kira manufacturing overhead cost. Okay, so syarikat ni, Naures Sdn Berhad, they produce 1,000 refrigerators a month. Okay, so dia bagi tahu dekat sini the cost and expenses incurred are as follows. Okay, so dia bagi anda beberapa item di dalam example 4. Okay, before I am able to calculate the requirement of the question. Okay, kita nampak dekat sini soalan minta kita kira manufacturing overhead cost incurred. Okay, so I need to go through all the items baru saya boleh classify dan tentukan apa item yang akan masuk dalam MOH, manufacturing overhead. Okay, we go through one by one. Okay, this is run. Okay, and it's factory equipment run. So it happens in the factory. So this is actually MOH, right? Okay, second one, we have insurance expense. Untuk apa? Insurance expense ni untuk factory building. So this is also MOH. Okay, direct material. Okay, dah sasah tulis dekat situ direct material. So yang ni tak ada kena-mengena lah sebab this is actually direct material cost. Okay, factory utilities. Okay, it's an expenses tapi dia ialah factory utilities. Okay, kalau dia utilities expense saja, okay, maybe you kena cari dalam soalan dia ada bagi extra information. Tapi in this item dia memang dah nyatakan dengan jelas is utilities paid for the factory. Okay, so yang ini pun ialah MOH. Okay, Alright, and then you have office supplies. Yang ni supplies betul, tapi office. So it is not in the manufacturing plant. Dia bukan berada di dalam kilang. So yang ni tak ada kena-mengena langsung dengan kilang. Okay, tapi kita pernah classify dalam topik 2, yang ini ialah your sales and admin expense. Okay, assembly line wages. Okay, assembly line, orang yang terlibat dengan pemasangan. So upah yang dibayar kepada orang yang terlibat dengan pemasangan, that means yang itu ialah your direct labor. So ini bukan MOH. Alright. Okay, depreciation expense, clear? Okay, that is an expenses. Tapi untuk apa? Untuk office equipment. So yang ni is not related to your manufacturing cost. So this is actually your sales and admin. Okay, you need to be very careful with this because bila you tersalah classify, jumlah yang kita akan kira adalah salah. Okay, indirect material. Dalam mana? Kilang. Tapi dia indirect. Okay, this is your MOH. Okay, alright. Tax, cukai. Untuk apa? Untuk factory property. So this is MOH. Yeah, alright. And then you have your factory supervisor salaries. Dia salaries. Untuk factory supervisor, this is also MOH. Alright, and then you have the advertising expense. There's something that you pay for advertisement. That means barang tu dah siap ya. Bila dah siap, dia bukan berada dalam kilang. So this is actually your sales and admin. Okay, and then sales commission, sasah ada perkataan sales kat depan. That is actually sales expenses. Okay, sales and admin. That is also your period cost ya. Alright, last but not least, another depreciation expense. Tapi yang ini untuk factory building. So bila factory building, yang ini ialah MOH. So as you can see here, I have one item, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and then 7. We have 7 items to be included in your manufacturing overhead costs. Okay, so bila kira untuk AA025, make sure kira ke bawah. Jangan kira macam bentuk ayat matematik ya. Sebab in AA025, you are actually a decision maker. So anything that you calculate for the upper level is actually considered as a report. So report kena lengkap. So macam ni saya kena senaraikan satu-satu. So saya ada 7 item tadi. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I list down everything and I write all the items in full. There is no short forms to be used in your answers. Yang boleh guna short form ni selalunya pensyarah lah. Sebab dia nak cepat kan. Tapi normally for you, you will copy down the items given in the question in full. Tidak ada sebarang short forms. Okay. So all these items are in ringgit Malaysia. Okay. So the total manufacturing overhead cost is 15,525. Okay. So that is how we calculate our manufacturing cost. Okay. So now kita dah tahu macam mana nak kira direct labor cost, direct material cost, and then your manufacturing overhead. Okay, so we've moved forward to the last part of your topic 3, which is statement of cost of goods manufactured. Okay, yang ini adalah satu statement. So bila kita sebut penyata, dia mestilah dalam satu bentuk lengkap. Tidak ada short forms, tidak ada nilai yang boleh di carry forward daripada item yang dikira di atas, sebab kalau dia penyata, dia mesti disenaraikan dengan detail. Okay, apa kaitan cost of good manufactured, COGM ni, dengan profit or loss or your income statement? Okay, we will see later. Okay, so macam mana nak buat statement of cost of good manufactured? Okay, macam biasa, it's going to be a 3-layer title, nama company. Okay, statement of cost of good manufactured, and since cost ini dikira dari first day of production until the end of the production year, So dia ialah for the year ended 31st of December, 31st of December 2000 something. Okay, so actually apa yang kita kira dalam statement of cost of good manufactured ni? We are actually calculating your manufacturing cost. So kalau kita faham topik 2, manufacturing cost, kita kena pasti ada 3 item, direct material, direct labor and manufacturing overhead. So all these 3 items will be included in the statement tapi dengan detail because this is a statement. Okay. Alright, so actually the statement can be divided into 3 different sections. Okay, the first section until here is actually your direct material. So kalau kita kira macam biasa dekat bab 2, you cuma ambil saja nilai yang diberi dalam soalan. Tapi bila anda dah belajar bab 3, you kena faham, okay, the amount for the direct material that will be included in your calculations is actually direct material use atau bahan mentah digunakan. So how do we calculate your direct material use? The first thing you need to list is your beginning inventory of direct material. Okay, so apa saja baki yang ada di awal tahun akan masuk di sinilah. Right, and then kita akan tambah dengan any direct material purchase. Okay, so purchases berada di statement ini ya. Kalau semester lepas kita belajar merchandise and also merchandise and services. Okay, so kalau untuk purchases, untuk merchandise company, dia akan dimasukkan di dalam income statement. Tapi this is different sebab kita start daripada scratch. So that means you tidak membeli barang yang sudah siap, sebaliknya kita membeli barang dalam bentuk bahan mentah yang belum diproses. Okay, so beginning inventory ditambahkan dengan direct material purchase, you akan dapat direct material available for use. Okay, bahan mentah sedia untuk digunakan. Tapi adakah kita guna semua untuk pengeluaran? Tidak. Sebab bila hujung tahun, you kira dalam awak punya gudang ataupun storage, okay, anywhere lah, you simpan bahan mentah you, mesti ada baki. So yang tu kena tolak lah sebab kita tak guna semua. So kita akan minus dengan ending inventory of direct materials. So you will end up with the direct material use. This is item 1. Okay, and then kita ada direct labor. Okay, so direct labor dalam soalan, kalau memang diberi item itu sebagai direct labor, so I boleh terus tulis item tu di sini. Tak ada masalah. Tetapi dalam soalan yang diberi, sekiranya direct labor tu diberi dalam bentuk nama lain, okay, you kena senaraikan dia di bawah tajuk. That means direct labor di sini bertindak sebagai tajuk untuk komponen. Okay, so dalam soalan dikatakan diberi assembly line wages atau tailors atau cook atau bakers. Okay, that means you need to put whatever name of your direct labor di bawah. So dalam soalan ni mungkin kita guna assembly line wages. So kita senaraikan ataupun letak terus nilai di sini. So this is actually item 2. Okay, and then we have item yang terakhir, which is manufacturing overhead. Okay, so in this format here, we gave you some of the examples. Tapi sebenarnya ada banyak lagi contoh yang kita boleh guna pakai, banyak lagi item yang kita boleh masukkan di sini ya. As long as item itu bukan direct material, bukan direct labor dan dia berlaku di dalam kilang. So you can just list down below. Okay, so this is under manufacturing overhead. Okay, so manufacturing overhead jumlahkan. This is item 3. Okay, so as you can see here, I have item 1, campur item 2, campur item 3. Saya akan dapat total current manufacturing cost. Maksudnya kos pembuatan semasa. Okay, itu yang berlaku untuk tahun ini. Tetapi masa kita buka akaun tahun tersebut, awal tahun, mesti ada baki kerja yang belum siap daripada tahun sebelumnya, which is your beginning inventory of work in process. Jadi sekiranya ada baki work in process di awal tahun, saya yang berada di tahun 2024 kena sambung. So jumlah itu perlu dimasukkan ke dalam kos untuk tahun 2024. So kita akan plus beginning inventory of work in process. Okay, so kita akan dapat total work in process. That means total work in process ni maksudnya saya proses dari tahun lepas tak siap, sambung 1 Januari. Lepas tu sepanjang dari 1 Januari sampai 31 Disember, saya ada masukkan lagi beberapa, saya proses lagi beberapa item. So ada direct material, direct labor, manufacturing overhead. So itu cost untuk tahun 2024. So kita campur dua item ni, kita akan dapat total cost of work in process. Okay, tapi 31 Disember, mungkin ada kerja yang masih belum siap, disambung keesokan harinya. So yang itu tak boleh masukkan dalam kos tahun semasa. Okay, you should be deducting the item. So kita akan minus ending inventory of work in process. Okay, so once you deducted your ending inventory of work in process, nilai yang kamu dapat, this is IPO ya. Dah tergeliat lidah nak sebut benda ni. Alright, this is cost of goods manufactured. Alright, cost of good manufactured. Okay. Alright. So ini adalah kos barang di kilang. Okay, apa kaitan kos barang di kilang? The cost of good manufactured in your statement of cost of good manufactured dengan your income statement. Your SOCI or your SOPEL. Okay. So dia tak berakhir di sini ya. Kita akan sambung. Okay, so we have another statement which is your profit or loss ataupun your comprehensive income statement. Okay, so format sama. Okay, comprehensive income statement format sama. It's a 3-layer title, nama company, nama statement and the duration. Okay, for the year ended. Okay, kita ada net sales macam biasa. Okay, lepas tu yang ini ada sedikit perbezaan dengan apa yang kita buat semester lepas sebab kita ada beginning inventory. Tapi kita tak boleh tulis beginning inventory saja. Sebab di sini we are actually referring to beginning inventory of finished goods. Okay, sebab kita kena faham sekarang kita ada 3 jenis inventory. So yang di dalam SOCI atau SOPEL is actually beginning inventory of finished goods. Lepas tu kita tak ada purchases. Sebab kita beli tadi barang mentah, kan? So kita akan tambahkan di sini cost of good manufactured. This is actually amount yang anda kira di statement tadi yang ini. Okay, sebab itu kena hati-hati nilai ini dibawa turun ke bawah. Okay, so kena kira dengan betul lah. Sebab bila you dah kira cost of good manufactured, alright, this one, nilai ini akan dibawa ke SOCI. So dia akan dimasukkan di sini. Alright. Okay, so beginning inventory plus COGM, kita akan dapat cost of goods available for sale. Okay. Lepas tu kita tolak dengan ending inventory macam biasa, tapi make sure kita mention ending inventory of finished goods. Okay. So you akan dapat nilai ni. This is one actually. This is your COGS. Okay. This is actually your COGS. Okay, so macam biasa, sales minus COGS, you akan dapat gross profit. Okay, lepas tu teruslah mengira sehingga dapat net profit dengan menolak operating expenses, aka sales and administration expenses, aka period cost. Yang ni dah belajar dalam bab 2. So you're going to list down everything here. Okay, and then kita akan tolak dan dapatkan net profit ataupun net income. Okay, so that are the 2 statements. Okay, and how the COGM is actually related to your SOPEL. Alright. Okay, so macam mana saya nak kira production cost per unit? Nak kira harga barang kan? Sebab I need to know how much is one product. Okay, what's the cost for one product? Then only saya boleh mark up dan tentukan harga jual. Okay, so I need to find the production unit dulu. Okay, so how do I calculate my production unit? Okay, macam biasa, kita akan tengok kita punya sales unit. You akan minus beginning units of finished goods. Kenapa minus? Sebab beginning units of finished goods ni is actually unit dari tahun lepas. Yang kita nak kira adalah unit tahun ni saja. Okay, lepas tu kita akan tambah ending units for finished good. Jangan salah ya. Sebab takut awak dah biasa, kalau beginning tu you akan tambah, ending you akan tolak. Okay, you kena faham dekat sini saya nak kira berapa unit saya jual. So contoh, katakan saya jual 50 unit barang. Okay, tahun lepas punya 10. So that is not actually considered this year's production, betul? So 10 tu kena tolak. Okay, tapi saya mungkin tak jual semua kan. Saya check dalam stok, ada baki lagi lah. Berapa? Katakan baki masih tinggal 20. Maksudnya 50 tolak 10 ni adalah yang saya buat tahun ni bersama-sama dengan baki yang ada dekat store tadi. So katakan baki dekat store tadi you ada 20. Okay, so that is your production unit. 50 tolak 10, 40. 40 campur 20, 60. So tahun ini saya buat 60 unit baru. Tapi sebenarnya ada berapa unit dekat tangan? 70 lah. Sebab saya ada beginning inventory which is produced last year. Okay, itu baru dapat unit. Sekarang ni nak kira cost, production cost per unit. So saya nak ambil yang mana? Sebab tu kita perlu ada cost of good manufactured. This one. This item. Yang madam letak bintang tu. Alright. So that amount from your statement, okay, bila kita bahagikan dengan production unit, kita akan dapat production cost per unit. So let's say production cost per unit saya tadi ialah 1,200. Lepas tu production unit 60. Okay. Jadi berapa harga seunit cost? Berapa cost seunit produk? Dia akan jadi RM20. So tahu dah lah, actually modal saya untuk keluarkan satu produk yang dah siap ni ialah RM20. So from there, barulah kita boleh tentukan harga. Nak jual berapa? RM20.50. Kalau jual RM20.50, dia jadi macam sedekah. Okay, you won't get any profit. So there is actually a way for you to calculate, okay, berapa yang you akan markup so that you are able to obtain profit. Okay, so this is actually how you calculate the production unit and also the production cost per unit. Okay, all right. Okay, we go straight to preparing the statement of cost of good manufactured and also calculating the cost per unit. Okay, so dalam soalan ni kalau you tengok, dia bagi anda sales, okay, dalam unit dan juga dalam RM. Okay, lepas tu you ada purchases of direct materials and then you have beginning inventory. Okay, beginning inventory ni dia bagi dua-dua ni, which is your direct material inventory and also your work in process inventory. And then your direct labor, which is your assembly line wages. Lepas tu dia ada bagi a few items di bawah ni. Okay, yang ni kena classify macam biasa. Okay, so this is your DM, yeah. This is DM, okay. And then you have your DL here, all right. Okay, factory manager salaries, this is your MOH. Okay, yang ni ialah MOH. Okay. And then kita ada indirect material, that is also MOH. Okay. And then kita ada depreciation expense, this is also MOH. Alright, okay. Supervisor salaries, factory utilities, factory rental, yang ini pun MOH. Okay. Alright, sales expense, admin expense, this is your period cost, sales and admin. Okay, yang di bawah ni dia bagi awak ending inventory lah. Okay. Alright, below dia bagi dalam unit beginning inventory untuk finished goods. Okay, so this is the beginning inventory unit for finished goods, and this is your ending inventory unit for finished goods. Okay, atau finished product. Alright. Okay, so kita nak buat statement of cost of goods manufactured. Okay. Lepas tu nak kira production cost per unit. So tak perlu nak buat suci lah. So I am just going to show you how to do COGM. Alright. So macam biasa, nama perniagaan, statement, and also the duration of the statement. Okay, for the year ended 31st December 2022. Okay, so dalam direct material use, this is the first item. Kita ada beginning inventory untuk direct material, tambah direct material purchase, and you will get direct materials available for use, minus ending inventory of direct material, kita akan dapat item 1, which is direct material used. Okay, that is your first item. Next, in the question, direct labor tu is your assembly line wages. So just list sahaja. This is assembly line wages. Okay, rasa macam senang sangat soalan ni kan? Okay, tapi kalau dalam soalan dia ada bagi hospital benefit for direct labor, lepas tu dia ada bagi overtime for direct labor, bonus for direct labor, okay, apa-apa saja yang berkaitan dengan direct labor, you akan campur dekat situ ya, dekat item 2 tu. That means in your direct labor bukan satu item saja, it's going to be more than one. Okay, depends on the question given lah. Yang ni nampak senang sangat, takut nanti awak ingat, oh setiap kali soalan akan jadi senang macam ni ke? Nope, not necessarily. Sebab mungkin direct labor, dia bukan hanya letak gaji saja dalam soalan, dia akan bagi juga other remunerations. Mungkin dia akan letak OT, okay, bonuses, commission, which is related to the direct labor, you will list down below. Okay, okay, lepas tu kita ada manufacturing overhead, so senaraikan semua. Okay, oh sorry. Okay, so manufacturing overhead, kita akan senaraikan semua. Alright, so you will get your total manufacturing cost. This is item 3. Okay, so 1 plus 2 plus 3, kita akan dapat current manufacturing cost. And then kita akan plus beginning inventory of work in process, which is given in the question. You akan dapat total cost of work in process. And then saya minus dengan ending inventory of work in process, I akan dapat cost of goods manufactured. 181,150. Okay. So soalan yang kedua tadi dia minta kamu kira production cost per unit, right? So kena cari dulu total unit manufactured. Berapa banyak kita keluarkan? Okay. So dalam soalan kita jual 14,000 unit. Okay. 4,800 ni apa? Okay. Dalam soalan tadi dia bagi 4,800 tu ialah beginning inventory untuk finished goods. Okay. So beginning inventory kita akan minus, ending inventory kita akan plus. So 14,000 tu saya ambil dari mana? 14,000 tu I ambil dari sini. My sales unit. Alright? Okay. So your production cost per unit, your total unit manufactured, 14,000 minus 4,800 plus 1,000. Kita akan dapat 10,200 units. Okay? So how much is your production cost per unit? The one that you calculated earlier, which is 181,150. Kita bahagikan dengan 10,200 units. This one. Kita akan dapat 17 ringgit. Okay. 17 ringgit. And 76 cents. Okay. Actually, kalau awak guna calculator, it is going to be 17.75 something lah. Okay. So, jangan jadikan dia 18 ringgit sebab kita kena faham costing must be very detailed. So, kita hanya boleh bunda kepada 2 tempat perpuluhan sajalah. Okay. So, that's why you get the answer of 17 ringgit and 76 cents. Okay. Alright. So that's about all for topic 3. All right. Okay. So tomorrow in lab, okay, we are going to discuss your lecture notes. Okay, so but we are going to fill up everything, okay, accordingly. So please watch the video and please understand the item that is actually classified in your direct material, okay, direct labor, and also your manufacturing overhead. Okay, so once you know how to classify, you know how to differentiate, you know what are the items that is included in direct materials, direct labor, and also manufacturing overhead, kita mudah untuk sediakan. So kita kena faham dalam bab ini, saya kena tahu semua manufacturing cost. Okay, bila saya sebut semua, dia tak banyak sebenarnya. It's only 3, which is your direct material, direct labor, and manufacturing overhead. It's just that in your direct labor, direct material, and manufacturing overhead tu ada item-item tertentu lah. That one you need to read so that you understand. Okay, so in your manufacturing cost, apabila kita dah tahu the 3 items, okay, we are going to use the items to calculate your total cost of goods manufactured. So bila kira total of cost manufactured, COGM, you kena ambil kira all the beginning inventories for your WIP and the ending inventories for your WIP as well. Okay, WIP ialah work in process. Work in process maksudnya bahan mentah, buruh langsung, manufacturing overhead itu dah masuk dalam kilang, sedang diproses tapi belum siap 100%. Okay, so dia masih dalam bentuk 80%. 70%. So dia tak boleh kategorikan sebagai inventory untuk barang siap. Dan dia juga tidak boleh dikategorikan sebagai inventory bahan mentah sebab dia dah bercampur dengan benda lain. So dia adalah work in process inventory. Okay, kerja dalam proses. Alright. So you need to know all these terms and items so that we know how to differentiate and how to calculate. Okay. Dan bab ini akan berakhir dengan mengira total units manufactured and also production cost per unit. Okay, so I wish you a good day, everyone. Okay, so please watch the video. Okay, and I'll see you tomorrow. All right. Okay, thank you, everyone. Okay, Assalamualaikum.